Okay, everybody. Hi. Here to talk about atheism and hell, the dangers of atheism. Um, Listen. Bottom line is the Bible lets us know that it's the atheist who's a fool. He says, "Whoever says in his heart there's no God, that person is a fool." That's the definition of a fool. It also talks about that only thing good for a fool is for their back to be whipped. And it goes on in different ways to say that a fool can't learn knowledge. So first thing the Bible says is in order to know the reality of God, you must first believe that He is, believe that He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. Because God is like this: hey, if you won't even believe that I am, why should I reveal myself to you? Why do I have to show you my presence? Why do I have to bless you? Why do I have to, you know, take you away from hell? You won't even believe that I exist. Well, then God will let you stay in ignorance. He'll let you stay like that. I mean, He'll send people to you to try and change your mind, but basically, if you're stubborn enough and you keep holding on, you'll be right there in hell because, you know, you, whether you know it or not, are being manipulated by Satan, whom you are totally oblivious to because you totally only live in the carnal realm. But there's another realm, there's a spiritual realm. It's another dimension beyond this. Everything you see God created, He created this physical realm for us, spiritual beings that live in physical bodies or houses. But this is only temporary. This is going to fade away. That's why you leave these bodies and you go into eternity. However, eventually there will be an eternal physical and spiritual kingdom. That's called the new heaven and new earth. Right now, though, this world that we live in right now is under corruption, under decay. It's temporary. My point is that if you choose to take your short amount of time God gives you here, because that's the whole reason why you're here, whether you think you're here for fun or games or, to have sex or drink or get all the wealth of this world, Jesus already warned you and said, what is it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So when you think about it, all this that you fight for, all that you cherish, the Bible says clearly that one day it's all going to be consumed by fire. God destroyed the world one time with water. That was during Noah's flood. The last time He said it would be by fire. And He said that leaving Sodom and Gomorrah as an example for those who would live ungodly. Sodom and Gomorrah was scorched to the ground. Even to this day, there's nothing left there in that valley where Sodom and Gomorrah was. Go research it. All archaeology done has shown that there is lots of sulfur deposits where there was an explosion of fire. And God lit that place on fire. He sent fire from heaven. And it's no longer there. That's an example to you, my friends, of what will happen to the ungodly. Now, what makes you ungodly? Does it mean you're not perfect? Well, of course you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We were all, uh, deceived by Satan. We all took on the image of Adam, our father, Adam and Eve. You know what happened in the Garden of Eden. It's not just stories, my friend. That's how corruption and sin and death entered the world. That's why people die. That's why people are tempted to do evil because of what Adam and Eve did when they ate the forbidden fruit. You know about it, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So now, we're in this state where we can be tempted. But God knew we were going to do that, so He decided to create a law so that would govern against lawlessness, which is what sin is, lawlessness. It's like when you create laws in society to stop criminals, okay? Well, He knew that all men had all mankind had this sinful nature within them, the propensity to error, the propensity to go against what is right. And God is perfect. He never does anything wrong. He never goes against the right because He is the right. And He made us in His image. We weren't originally like that, but when we took on this error uh, uh, nature, which came from Satan, And Satan got it by deciding that he can be his own God, that he can be his own leader, when the creation decided it was going to govern itself without the help of its creator, which is chaos. That's like a computer trying to govern itself without the commands from the motherboard or from the the CPU. Okay, well, that computer's going to be in chaos. It doesn't realize that, but if a computer starts to divide against its own CPU, so that's exactly what Satan is. He's twisted wisdom. you know. Anyway, the point is that, my friend, you got to make a decision to change. You got to turn from what you're thinking right now. Okay? Atheism, there is no atheism. That's only a myth. You can't not know there's a God. You know there's a God in your heart, but what you're actually doing is lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to your friends around you. You guys all decide you're going to stick together. You guys made a decision. We're just not going to believe in God, yada, yada, yada. We're all on a big, crowd together. That's what you atheists do. And we all believe there's no God. And we have science behind this, but you don't have science behind you. You have evolution, which is humanism, which is recycled communism, and fascism is what it really is. And it's simply someone looking for an excuse. Every man knows in his heart he's wrong. He knows he's not perfect. You ask yourself right now, am I perfect? And your question will be in your heart, no. The answer will be no. No, I'm not perfect immediately, because you have a conscience that God put in there to let you know you're not perfect. Why do you know that you're not perfect? Even without anyone telling you, because God lets you know. He gives you the knowledge that when you do something wrong, your conscience convicts you. Why does your conscience convict you? Don't say it's just because of society. Any part of the world, when a child does something wrong, or something's wrong being done to them, what do they start doing? They start crying. Because they know something's wrong. See, God gave them a conscience. Okay, now to the Jews, he gave them the law, the Torah and the law, and the prophets. And to us, he gave us a conscience, Gentiles. But everybody has gone against God's righteousness, against what's right. So, we were all to be forsaken, because we were unprofitable to God. But God decided to not forsake us, but to let himself become a man, and then let himself be forsaken on the cross. This is the mystery. So you would not have to be forsaken or separate from him ever. But if you choose to be forsaken, meaning God, you're trash. You're rubbish. You're not under his protection. You're not under his loving arms. You're under the guise of Satan. And everything Satan is, He's the rapist. He's the murderer. He's the thief. Every evil thing that's ever happened to you was because of Satan. Satan planned it. He's real. And he wants ultimately to take you down to hell so he can torment you for the rest of eternity. And so he can laugh and say, listen, I stole you from God and now you're mine. But what would that do for you? Nothing. It won't do anything for you, because it's all about pride. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to continue this.